Hello, Friday Night Live, we're back. I have to tell you, before we pushed go, I was feeling a little bit nervous, but I'm so excited to be with you guys tonight. Give us a shout out that you're here, and I'd like to just chat with you throughout the night. I'm going to get better at this chatting with you guys because it's so great to have a community where we can come together and just continue to do recovery. My name is Wendy, and I am a grateful follower of Jesus, and I struggle in the area of control and codependency. And normally, then Jen would say, and my name is Jen, and I tell you, I'm missing Jen tonight. But we will get to see her in the video later. Tonight is a panel, so you're in for a treat tonight. Jen and I had the opportunity to sit down with four participants and just ask them some questions. So that's going to come a little bit later. But happy summer to you. We are going to start worship, and we are so thankful that we have talented people that will prepare worship for us and prepare our hearts to start out our evenings. So Joy and Chris are going to lead us in worship. Let's do that now.
Great the chasm that lay between us, how high the mountain I could not climb. In desperation, I turned to heaven and spoke your name into the night. Then through the darkness, your loving kindness tore through the shadows of my soul. The work is finished, the end is written. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Who could imagine so great a mercy? What heart could fathom such boundless grace? The God of ages stepped down from glory to wear my sin and bear my shame. The cross has spoken, I am forgiven. The King of Kings calls me his own. Beautiful Savior, I'm yours forever. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Hallelujah, praise the one who set me free. Hallelujah, death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Then came the morning that sealed the promise. Your buried body began to breathe. Out of the silence, the roaring lion declared the grave has no claim on me. Then came the morning that sealed the promise. Your buried
probably cut that off a little bit short, but Joy said, Hallelujah, hallelujah. And it's just so great to have them lead us in worship. And so we just thank you, Joy and Chris, for sharing your gifts and talents with us on Friday nights. And we just really, really appreciate it. So I was watching, and then I see there's Brienne's on, and Christine, and Angela, and Bill, and our community is coming together on this summer night. And some of you maybe are out camping or at a cottage or something like that. Shout out where you're at, and or maybe some of those summer plans that you've got coming up in the next few months or weeks. So I'm going to do some announcements before we jump into that panel. So I'm going to do my shout out for Celebration Place right now because we have something exciting. A few weeks back, I did a challenge to cultivate thankfulness, and one of our Celebration Place friends took on that challenge, and she sent out 5 thank yous, and here I have a picture of them so you guys get to see them, or you don't get to see all of them. Let me see if I can. Oh, can you see them? Maybe you can't see them. When things don't work, I could describe it to you, but it would be, oh, there they are. Yay, I got it to work. So this is Ava, and she's one of our Celebration Place friends, and she took on that challenge to do 5 thank you notes to send out to people that she was thankful for. So kudos to Ava, and if there's anyone else out there that's taken on that challenge, most certainly send your things in and we'll give you a shout out. So those are our Celebration Place people. Also, this is, oh, I took the wrong button. You'll see me use wrong buttons. Here we go. Oh, you got the question there. You got everything there. Okay, so we're back. cr@creeksidechurch.ca. If you're new and you haven't been with us before, I'd love for you to join me at something called CR 101. And during that, you'll get an opportunity to ask some questions. And I'll just kind of give you an idea of what to expect in the coming weeks when you join an open share group. So that's send a message to cr@creeksidechurch.ca and I'll give you out a Zoom link. And as well, if you haven't been part of our open share group or you haven't got the Zoom link for that, make sure that you send us a message again to that email. It's not too late to be part of Summit. If you've never experienced a CR Summit, we've taken away that you can't travel or those things. You just get to sit on your couch and get to experience a CR Summit. It is for anyone. And so I would encourage you to go online or send us an email and find out what that's all about. Send us an email and we'll get you connected in for sure. Again, at that cr@creeksidechurch.ca. The other thing that we love to do, and I'm excited tonight. Oh, look at Ava came back. Like I've got everything here. But I'm going to take Ava away because we celebrate here at Celebrate Recovery. And tonight we've talked about celebrations and how if you've got a milestone or you're celebrating something, then send us an email and a video and we will give you a shout out. So tonight we get to celebrate with Paula. And in the comments, if you're celebrating something, get it in the comments and we'll give you, the community will rally around you and celebrate with you. So here, let's listen to Paula's video.
On July 17th, 2015, I walked through these doors to attend my very first Celebrate Recovery meeting. Hi everyone, my name is Paula and I'm a grateful follower of Jesus Christ. So for 5 years now, I have been on this incredible journey called Celebrate Recovery. I've attended meetings, met incredible people who have helped me so much along my journey, and just got to learn more about God and learn more about myself. And there's just been so many good things. And I'm just so grateful to be a part of a ministry like this. One of the biggest things that I've learned on this journey is that I am not alone. I have been able to meet people who are experiencing similar struggles that I experienced. And we were able to connect, and I still do connect with them, and just learn together and grow together. The second thing is just how much my relationship with God has changed. He's not just some guy far out there in the sky. He is a God who wants to know me personally. He wants to know where I'm at. He wants to have this deep personal relationship with me. And he cares. He cares about me, and he cares about you, and he cares about how his children are doing. I am celebrating 5 years tonight of intentionally working on my recovery. It's not always easy, but it is totally worth it. My encouragement to you is to try it and to just keep coming back. Thank you so much for listening and letting me share this part of my life with you. God bless you.
What an honor it is to celebrate with Paula. Congratulations, Paula. I haven't figured out the horns and all of those things, so I'll just clap. So thankful to have you part of our community, Paula. Again, if you are celebrating something, let us know because we want to celebrate with you. And I see more people coming on, Rob and Beth and Roy. So just keep chatting amongst yourselves because I don't know about you, but I'm missing community, and this most certainly gives an opportunity to do that. So as I mentioned, tonight we are going to do a video, which Jen and I did a few weeks back. And you'll notice, because we don't have masks on, and that's all changed since we've done this video. But we sat down with 4 participants and we asked them some questions. So we're going to watch that video tonight. And while we're watching it, I'd love for you to ask yourself these questions as well. So I'm going to read them for you. And also in the comments, because I'm going to be able to read the comments because I'm going to watch it with you, then well, maybe we can talk about some of those things if there's things that have come up. So the questions that we asked them was, what brought you to recovery? What keeps you coming back? And who is CR for? So let's jump into that video.
We're really excited to have a group of people joining us here this evening to talk a little bit more about what Celebrate Recovery is. Because the reality is, a lot of you guys watching have been to a CR group before in person, but there's a huge group of people that really have no idea what Celebrate Recovery is because you've never been to an actual meeting. So we brought in a group of friends with us tonight who have been a part of CR for a season, and we're just going to ask them some questions and hear more about their journey in Celebrate Recovery. So let's have them join us now.
Thanks, Jen. It's great to be here with some of our friends from Celebrate Recovery. And as Jen said, it is hard sometimes to come through the door and know why we're coming. Tonight, we're going to ask Beth to start, and she's going to share with us what brought her to Celebrate Recovery.
I came to CR when my husband and I were having problems. Our marriage was in shambles, and I just didn't know where else to turn. There was alcohol and drugs that were a part of the problem. And originally, I had thought that my husband was actually the culprit of all of these problems. I had turned away from Jesus way back 25 years ago, and I was just living in a world of chaos. When we came back to Celebrate Recovery, I started just realizing that my problems ran deeper than just my husband, and I actually had problems too with drugs and alcohol. So I just had to turn my life around.
Thanks so much for sharing, Beth. It's great to hear some of the reasons people come in to Celebrate Recovery. Beth, we have some CR values, and one of them is a can-do attitude. I'm wondering if you can tell us how you've experienced this can-do attitude in your recovery.
Absolutely. Because of my faith that has grown strong throughout the Celebrate Recovery program, I've realized that I can bring my experience of peace and joy to others. I really feel called to work with others and help them to find the peace and joy that I have experienced. So I'm doing that by co-leading a Celebrate Recovery group. I'm also volunteering for the prison ministry, which is just getting started, and I'm looking very forward to, so I can bring my story to people in prison. I also work strongly with members of the AA group, Alcoholics Anonymous, and I just find that by bringing my message of peace and joy and recovery, turning my life around, I can give people the hope that I needed when I first came into Celebrate Recovery.
Thanks, Beth, so much for sharing. It's just been so cool to have you apprenticing with our leadership team and joining us here. And the prison ministry is so exciting. We're just so thrilled that you are exploring that opportunity as well. So Bill, moving on to you. Thanks for joining us. It's great to have you. We would love to hear a little bit about your experience and what brought you through the doors at CR. And we know that one of the values that you probably didn't even realize was important to you is the one that we have, and it's having a safe and healthy community of belonging that takes risks to reach more people. So would you just share a little bit of your story with us?
Sure, Jen. You know, I started coming to CR because I was looking for something different on my recovery process. What I found when I started attending was a safe and a healthy community that was willing to walk beside, in front, and behind me as we mutually journey towards freedom. It's been a place of belonging to me. It's allowed me to take some risks in meeting others, allowing them to get to know my hurts, my hangups, and my habits. It has been a long road for me into recovery. It's been over 30 years. But CR has helped me to relax and feel comfortable in a safe and lasting and inviting environment. I've been able to start building healthy relationships with others who understand what I've been going through. I began to realize that I wasn't alone in this journey. CR is for everyone, and I found it to be a place where I could deal with anything that stands in my way, things that have hindered me from being who God's created me to be. It's also allowed me to realize that we are in this journey of life together, and we were created for community. Paul, this guy in the Bible, wrote a letter to some Christians in Philippi to support them, and he said this. He says, "Don't look out for your own interests, but take an interest in others as well." And that's in Philippians 2:4. And as a follower of Jesus, regardless of how mature how much authority I have, I'm supposed to treat others with humility and selflessness. Paul's also helping us realize that the focus isn't exclusively towards other people. He doesn't say, never look after my own interests. You know, we are to look after other and help other people, but that doesn't mean that we are to completely avoid caring for my own needs as well. It's hard to serve other people when my life, my health, and my concerns are in ruins. Doesn't mean that we can't help others because, we've achieved perfection, whatever that means. But as I experience and continue to experience healing, life, encouragement, joy, love, and unity, I'm able to express comfort, encouragement, love, and unity to those around me.
Thanks so much for sharing with us, Bill. I really could resonate with a lot of what you said, and that this place to land safely is what I hear you experiencing, and I want all of our people to hear that. It is such a safe place to land. So thank you for sharing that. And we're going to move to Paula. And I just love being with these people. It's such an amazing community. So Paula, what has had you stay here and keep coming back to Celebrate Recovery?
So it was kind of a couple of things, and it kind of progressed. After the very first night, I met some people, and that helped me want to come back. It was like instant connection. And also getting involved right away, that kept me, because I signed up for something, then I needed to keep coming for that. And so really that's what kept me coming at the beginning, is that there were people that I could kind of get to know, and I was serving in some way. Although it didn't take long before God started working in my heart. And so then that's what kept me coming. It's like, well, God is really doing something in my life, and this is a place where I'm experiencing authentic relationships like I've never had before. And when someone says, "How are you?" they genuinely want to know how I'm doing. And I can't think of another circle in my lifetime that I had that experience. And so those three things for sure kept me coming back, and they keep me here.
Yeah, that process, right? That serving that keeps you coming back, and it just keeps flowing one to the next. It seems like as we go through the process of recovery. So Paula, how have you, going back to our CR values, and one of our values is leading, living, and giving out of a healthy and thriving recovery. How has God, and you kind of spoke to that in the serving, but can you expand a little bit more on that?
Mm-hmm. So leading, it's a process, and it kind of took me some time to get to the place to feel that I could lead others in CR. But the place that I started leading quickest, I guess, would be outside, and just sharing what I was learning here with those in my circle, and sharing my experiences and just about this program and authentic people that I'd never got to be with before. And so understanding and going through the steps and the principles, I was able to apply it to my own life and then able to share it with others. That's really the biggest way that I've been able to give back, is because I feel that I have gained so much from being here that I can't help but to share it with others.
So cool.
Paula, that was so awesome. Thank you for sharing a bit of your story with us and your heart, and just the opportunities that you've had to share outside of here has been so cool. And I know I've had the opportunity to hear some of those. So thank you for what you do here on Friday nights with us, and for what you're doing beyond these walls as well. That's awesome. Chris, we're going to turn to you now. Thank you for joining us this evening. Chris, you and I started CR together 11 years ago, and so it's been a long journey. And I know you've mentioned a lot of times that you thought it would be a quick fix. You'd come in, you'd get in, get out, get done, and 11 years later, you're still here, and so am I. And so what is it that kept you here all of these years?
Thanks, Jen. It's been an incredible journey the last 11 years. Before I started recovery, I felt very much alone in my struggle. There was no one to talk to, and even those I did open up to, I felt were above my struggle. They couldn't relate. They didn't understand. They didn't know what I was going through. It didn't take me long to see that I wasn't alone when I started Celebrate Recovery. I was surrounded and embraced by people who understood me. They knew what I was going through. And I quickly embraced and immersed myself in this Christ-centered community. I felt accepted. I felt safe. I felt that this was a community where I could be honest and not feel judged. I quickly started to connect with other men one-on-one. And I got to the point where I was meeting guys for breakfast, for coffee, 5, 6, 7 times a week. And that community was just so authentic. And there were people that I could open up to and be honest with. And I knew they were being honest with me. And I've created some relationships that are just so incredibly deep and rich. And it's just incredible.
Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing just a little bit of your story. And authentic community is one of our really core values here, and you have just been such a testament to that. And I know you've shared your story a lot over the years, so thank you for embracing that value and for just encouraging others in that along the way. We really appreciate your story.
Thanks.
It's so cool to get some people together and hear their stories and how CR is impacting them. So help those that are watching understand, who is CR for?
CR is for anyone who feels alone and helpless. Anyone that's ready to make a change in their life, to get rid of the bitterness, the resentment, the pain that they're holding on to, and the hopelessness.
I believe CR is for anyone that is ready to embark on a journey of real and lasting change, a place where we can find freedom from our addictive, compulsive, and dysfunctional behaviors.
CR's for anyone who is at a place where they want to get real with their issues and real with where they're at in their life, and want to invite God into a process, because this CR really is a process, and just start their journey.
Celebrate Recovery is for everyone who is ready to experience change in their lives. And I say it that way because for so many years, I knew I needed change in my life, but I was not ready to experience change.
Okay, so I want to open this up to all of you guys. Each one of you alluded to the fact that there's this process in the journey. And one of the questions we've heard over the years is CR a quick fix? And so I would love to just throw the question out there, because we know it isn't, but one might speculate that why is it not a quick fix? And does the program work if you're here for 5, 11 years?
I guess for me, after 11 years, it doesn't seem that long really though. But I know when I first came through those doors, it was for a habit that was pretty obvious and pretty destructive in my life. So I knew why I was here, and I was ready for change. But over time, as I worked through that habit, I realized there was more underneath. and I started digging, I realized that there were hangups that I had that were causing me trouble, my fears and my insecurities. And I know that underneath those fears and insecurities lies some hurts that probably happened when I was young. And I have more digging to do. So I don't think this process will really ever end. If that answers your question.
I think recovery is not just a process, but it is a way of life. To me, like turning around my life, accepting Jesus Christ back into my life, and then just focusing on how I can be a good person and do the best I can every day. So it's not something that I can take a break from on the weekends, or, I'm take a sick day. No, like I have to put my recovery first and foremost. So I have to practice it each and every day. And that means starting the day with God, making sure that I'm praying for patience, tolerance, love, those sort of things to get through my day every day. And then I have to end each night looking at what I did for the day, reflecting, and then making sure that, I wasn't hurtful to people and I wasn't mean and nasty and reverting to my old ways. So yeah, I think it's a lifestyle. It's not something that will ever end. Recovery is, I've recovered from my issues, but I'll be constantly working on being the best Beth that I can be now. That sound okay?
Yeah, I agree actually with you, Chris, with you, Beth. It's like Shrek, all those, like an onion, all those layers, and you keep pulling back those layers and realize that what you thought was the issue probably isn't the issue. And so you go to the next layer, and whatever that layer looks like, then you deal with those issues. And having a supportive network is so critical. Trying to do it on your own for 30 plus years, even with counseling, was never helpful to me. So just being in this community where, as those layers get peeled back and you realize, here's what I'm dealing with now, there's a supportive network to help you through that process.
Well, when I came into CR, I didn't come in with a particular issue. And so I didn't really know what I was coming to work on. It didn't take long for me to find a lot of issues, but that beginning piece was, I'm not really sure why I'm here. I just know that my life is messy, and I've reached a place where this is not manageable by me anymore. And so, and so I'm here, and I keep coming because I keep finding more and more things. So it's not for me that the program doesn't work, it's I find that it works too well because I keep finding something else, which is good because it's a journey to freedom. And that's so exciting for me.
Wow, it is so awesome to be part of this community. And you have touched all on things that I personally have experienced, and Jen as well, I'm sure. And a lot of you listening probably can really relate to each and every one of these stories. And it's just the beginning of that story, right? We have just, as Bill had said, just starting to peel the onion of this conversation even. So we thank you for taking time out of your schedules and being with us today. And we look forward, because I don't think this is over. We look forward to having more conversations with you guys. Thanks again. I echo those comments. Thanks to Beth and Chris and Paula and Bill for sharing their time and their stories with us and the things of how CR has impacted them. And I think, like people were saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I see that. So I'm sure, like me, you probably could relate to some of those things that they had said, and that there was similarities. Although a very diverse group, there is some similarities in what they experienced when they came to CR. So experiencing the Christ-centered recovery, experiencing the safe place to land, a safe place to be, the authentic relationships that they hadn't experienced. These things, they were just similar. So also, I'm wondering, then what brought you through the doors of CR? Was it a habit? Was it a messy life needing change, or maybe chaos in your life or in someone's life that was close to you? Or maybe a spouse that was using drugs or alcohol, or maybe you had trouble like I did with rage and control. What about an addiction or looking for something different in recovery? What you are currently doing wasn't working, so you walked through the doors, or you stumbled upon us on Facebook or on Facebook here on Friday Night Live. Were you looking for something different? Maybe codependent relationships? Whatever it is, whatever has brought you to recovery, as a lot of the panel said, you are not alone. Perhaps you noticed, like I did, that, as I said, there was lots of commonalities, and also that all of the panelists talked about being ready. And I found it interesting that they alluded to this being ready for change. And Chris mentioned it as well. Before coming in to recovery, he wasn't ready, and that when he did come into recovery, there was an awareness of needing to be ready. And so as I was thinking through that, what ready means, I remembered this quote that I had heard from Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend, and it says, "We change our behavior when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing." I'll say that again. We change our behavior when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of changing. And it goes on to say, consequences give us the pain that motivates us to change. Maybe that's been your experience. I know people call it hitting rock bottom, so to speak. I don't know if what I experienced was rock bottom for me or not, but I do know that I became increasingly more aware of the consequences of being controlling and opinionated in my relationships, in my family relationships. I began to understand that the pain of losing those relationships because of my actions was going to be much higher than the pain I would experience in making the necessary changes to break those habits. It really is a choice, a posture, a decision. So my question to you is, are you ready to change? Perhaps you're confidently sitting there and you're saying, you know what, Wendy, you bet I'm ready to change. I'm built for change. Bring it. Or maybe you've been coming out for a while and you aren't really experiencing the change or the freedom that you were hoping for. You might be frustrated or maybe a little discouraged, or maybe you feel a little bit stuck. I'd suggest that you can be ready too. Or maybe this is all new to you and you're saying, just hold on a minute, Wendy. Whoa, I've got so much to think about. I've listened to the panel. I've got lots to think about. Like me, you maybe didn't even know what it looked like to be ready. Perhaps you've experienced a relapse, and I believe that you're ready for change. Regardless of where we are on that spectrum of being ready, what I want to remind us is that wherever we are, God will meet us there. God will meet you there. This is an amazing truth. If you are listening right now, I'll bet that you are looking for change and that you are wanting to experience the change that our panelists talked about. Let me just catch my thought there because it just went running off there. The super amazing, fantastic, awesome, incredible news. And I almost wrote supercalifragilisticexpialidocious news but I didn't know how to spell it, so I didn't write it. that news is that this journey is not about mustering up some strength in us to muscle through it on our own. It's not that at all. The road to freedom from our hurts, hang-ups, and habits, it only comes through Jesus Christ alone. And a quick side note, this also means that it's in his timing as well. As a panelist alluded to, Celebrate Recovery is a tool. It's like a vehicle that points us at our higher power, Jesus Christ, who is going to give us all that we need to experience the change that that panel spoke about, that I've experienced in my life. Some disclaimers, though, about recovery. We can't just say, I want to change. We can't just wish that it would happen. We can't just hope that it will happen. We can't simply just pray and sit around and do nothing. We can't just read the steps and the principles. We actually have to work the steps and principles. I have found that lasting change is a combination of waiting on Jesus and working harder than I've ever worked before. Let's go on a rabbit trail just for a minute. Let's look at watching a sports game and versus playing a sports game or being in a sport. So people that know me are probably going like, you're going to talk about sports, Wendy? You don't know nothing about sports. But I get this concept, so let's just work with me. So if I was watching a game, then the reality is I can show up pretty much anytime. I can text on my phone. I can be distracted. I can talk to my neighbor. I can go to get some snacks. It's pretty lackadaisy, so to speak, unless you're an intense watcher, which I'm not. So then I could even leave early. But let's look at the player. What about the player? They're focused. Their mind's set on readiness. They're alert and they're engaged, and they always show up. Recovery doesn't work if we're sitting in the sidelines. It is not passive. It requires action. We need that same presence of mind as the player does. We go back and we look at focused, a mindset of readiness, alert, and engaged. That's how we have to embrace recovery. Change will happen with God's help and hard work. Like it was shared tonight, this is an everyday decision, and I could relate to Beth. It doesn't take we can't take holidays from recovery. We need to continue to do it every day, because every day I need to choose to keep trusting God. And Peter says, so then, prepare your hearts and minds for action. Stay alert and fix your hope firmly on the marvelous grace that is coming to you. Remember, what did that say? It says, prepare your hearts and minds for action. Stay alert and fix your hope firmly on the marvelous grace that is coming to you. For when Jesus Christ is unveiled, a greater measure of grace will be released to you. And that's found in 1 Peter 1:13. That goes back to that asking God to help us be ready and to prepare our hearts for change. What would happen if we trusted God to do his part and we were willing to prepare our hearts and minds for action? Think about it for a moment. Pause. I think that incredible things would happen. I have personally experienced it, and I know so many others that have as well. And you know what? You can too. Before recovery, and even in parts of my recovery, I used self-sufficiency, my power, my work, my strength for far too long. I thought I should be strong and brave enough all on my own. When I did this, I didn't experience long-lasting change. I was tired and weary from carrying the load all by myself. Pulling up my bootstraps, pursuing my timing and my agenda was painful. As I continue to learn to partner with Jesus and tap into his power and strength, I have experienced long-lasting change. And you know what? I'm so excited for other areas. Like Bill had said, peeling the onion, and Chris talked about getting to the depth, the root of those hurts. I'm excited as God's going to continue to, in my life, help me experience long-lasting change. And he can do that for you as well. I want to remind us, God is our champion. He fights for us and he fights with us. We will be victorious because Jesus is victorious. And victorious people were never meant to settle for normal. 1 Corinthians 15:57 says, "But thanks to God, he gives us victory through our Lord Jesus Christ." There isn't a quick fix, and they talked about that in the panel. It's gonna take work, but I know this to be true. Growth and change will become your daily realities. Let me say that again. Growth and change will become your daily realities, and that might not seem possible right now, but I know it to be true. When we do the work of recovery, we do get lasting change. And so if you stay in the game, if you keep with the mindset of the player, you keep alert, you keep focused, and with a mindset of readiness, then I believe that with God's power through you, you will experience the change that you long for. It might take a little bit longer than you'd hoped because there isn't a quick fix, but it is possible. So I encourage you all to stay in the game. And I'm seeing, I wish I could share, and read the comments at the same time, because it looks like you guys are out there and you are chatting amongst yourselves and you're creating that community outside. And I see Mallory on there and Roy, and I'm so grateful. As a panelist have alluded to as well, it is an amazing community. And this is a vehicle that will point us at Jesus so that we can experience freedom. So we are going to now worship again and with Chris and Joy. I'll have a little bit of an opportunity to look at some of your comments, but let's worship.
Walking around these walls, I thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me yet. Waiting for change to come, knowing the battle's won, for you have never failed me yet. promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hand. This is my confidence. You've never failed me yet. I know the night won't last. Your word will come to pass. My heart will sing your praise again. Jesus, you're still enough. Keep me within your love. My heart will sing your praise again. Promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail. Promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never failed me yet. Never failed me yet. I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. Made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. Made a way when there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe I'll see you do it again. Made a way when there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. 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 Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail. Promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence.
It's so good to have Joy and Chris lead us in worship. And I noticed that I wondered if anybody would notice that there was a wardrobe change. But we are so excited that Joy and Chris are on holiday this week. So we just did a little bit of a throwback. But we appreciate them so much. And so does the community. We can see that. So he is faithful. And I love how we ended on that tonight. It has been so great to be with you. Again, a great shout out to Bill and to Chris and Paula and Beth for sharing their stories. And we are going to wrap things up. And I have some announcements I forget about. So email us. Let's see if I can get this up here. I got it. At cr@creeksidechurch.ca. Let us know if you have any prayer requests, praises. We'd love to hear them as well. Or if there's anything that you have any questions about, just send us an email. Also, you can send your Summit, if you want to get connected with Summit, you can send it to that as well. And check the CR Facebook page, the CR Canada Facebook page, and you can see there's King's Churches on there as well. They stream on Tuesday nights, but there's some more information on there as well. So happy summer. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. We are going to do the Serenity Prayer. And again, guess if you want to say the Serenity Prayer and send it to us, do that. And we will have yours on there as well. So cheers. Have a great weekend. And here is the Serenity Prayer.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy together with you in the next.